Guys, deluded YouTube's Lucas Torreira. I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. And if you're new to this thing, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, and comment because you're hooked. But moving on. Now it's nothing to do with Arsenal today, but I'm sure if those of you that were getting up ready for work as I was doing myself and preparing myself for the day, you saw some tweets retweeted on your timeline, or you saw Mino Raiola, Pogba's agents. You saw himself. You saw his tweets himself. I'm not going to get into it and what he said word for word, but more or less he got at Paul Scholes in the sense that he more or less said a player like Paul Scholes who's won champs, won Prems, and it was just an amazing footballer. I know United fans gas it a bit. I mean, whatever, but he was a quality footballer to say the least. We don't want to talk about United players more than we have to, but he got at him and he said allegedly, okay, you're essentially just talking for the sake of talking to remain relevant. And he said that Paul Scholes wouldn't know a leader if Winston Churchill was in front of him. Now, I'm not going to get into history lessons for obvious reasons and talk about Winston Churchill, but it was a bit of a dig, isn't it? It's a dig, and I mean, it's the latest antics between, I wouldn't even say Pogba, because I don't even think it's necessarily Pogba. I mean, obviously, it is clearly him and Jose don't see eye to eye and haven't for the last year or so. I mean, don't you remember Pep was saying he was offered Pogba and allegedly was trying to leave and all of the, and will he, won't he, and all of these things has been going on for a minute now, innit? We're fans. Unless you're them bigger YouTube fan, people who make content that claim they know stuff, unless you're Pogba's mother or family members or Jose's or around that squad, you don't have a damn clue about their relationship. He's given him the captaincy and he's played up to the cameras by saying he's expected, Pogba's doing what's expected, or he hasn't been more happy and whatnot. But clearly there's a discourse in it. There is a discourse. And if I'm, as an Arsenal, I mean, I got a lot of United fans, family and friends, and they used to stress me when Arsenal were getting beaten up. So I don't really want to say I have sympathy for them because they're ups at the end of the day. But as an Arsenal fan, I must admit I share their pain because first and foremost, I don't like antics. Like the season started, the transfer speculation. Obviously, Europe's still open, but I don't like the antics. And you got that, you got Martial, Shaw's playing, but you've had your own stories with Shaw. No centre half coming to the club. Obviously, they won their first game of the season, and then Brighton they messed up. And I mean, I must admit, Pogba was the best thing to some of these media sources when he played their first game, whoever they played in their first game. And now that he's lost, despite being one of them that took it on the chin and stepped up and said, "All right, cool, my attitude." I think he probably could have worded it better. I don't really think he was talking in his attitude. They weren't trying, but he said, "All right, cool, my attitude wasn't quite." Pardon me, guys, wasn't quite there in that game, innit? So Pogba, similar to, regardless of what you think of Pogba, Ozil, Hazard, all of these sort of players, win, lose, draw, they're always going to be the ones that are spoken of, innit? For me, it does look like Raiola wants to just get his client out of there. Allegedly, Pogba wants to go to Barca, or he wants Jose to leave United and he's happy to stay. I don't know, and I don't want to comment on that because that's just mere speculation. But if I look at it, I'm sure Raiola got a nice little eat when, if I remember rightly, when Mkhitaryan joined Arsenal, he got a fee from both sides. I'm sure he got a big fee when Pogba, if I remember rightly, when Pogba made the initial move to United. So if he wants to make another cash move now, I can't really blame him. If Pogba legitimately wants to leave and he's moving a bit snaky in the sense that behind the scenes I'll put plans into place, but I don't really want to come out and show the fans that it's me kind of wanting to do this. I want it to look like it's a Jose sort of thing leading it. Then we'll never know, innit? But for me, it does look like it's just trying to make peas. I do think Pogba wants to stay. I do think he's open to go in, personal opinion. But I do think that this guy's just on chopping money, really. I do think he has his client's best interests at heart somewhere because, I mean, you wouldn't have the sort of clients he has if it wasn't the case. Yeah, he cares about cash. I mean, he was a pizza boy at one point. Yeah, he cares about money and things. But I must admit, I do think he wants the player's best interests at heart. But I must admit, by the same part of the coin, I do think he doesn't, because surely if you want your player's best interest, it wouldn't have made sense to tweet this. It would not have made to tweet this, because whether Pogba might as well have said it himself, because he's going to get the heat of this, because it's his agent talking crap. And this is just going to make the atmosphere even more tense if it is or isn't already. It's just going to make more animosity. It's just, the longer the board leave it, they're going to have to make a decision. Is it Jose? Is it Pogba? I mean, you're always hearing reports that Jose might leave soon and stuff like that. I mean, even if you look at the bookies, he looks like the favourite to be sacked next. I'm not too sure if that happens, but yeah, like, it's a sad bit of events. And he also said that Scholes should advise Woodward to sell Pogba. So that is the one telling statement that I took from that. I mean, that kind of shows your intention. You're kind of just trying to create havoc, trying to create a circus. Maybe that's to the point where if you just carry on this circus, United bite the bullet and say, you know what, Paul Pogba is Paul Pogba. He's a quality player, but something has to give. We might have to just sell him, or something happens with the management, or some sort of other agreement has come to terms. For me, it's upsetting for Pogba because he's had a lot of critics, some warranted, some unfair in it. But either way, he's had a lot of critics. He's come from the World Cup. Obviously, it was a funny old World Cup, but he was one of the consistent stars. You've seen all the videos of his motivational speeches there. We know Pogba's got the ability. He probably just needed discipline, which is what he played with at the World Cup. So he's probably coming back to United with bravado, ready to take on the world sort of thing. And for in the second week for this to happen, on top of the Martial nonsense for fans and all the other stuff surrounding the club, it is quite annoying. I mean, you saw Woodward's face. He looked vexed at Brighton in a way, but it is what it is. Like, it's sad. Why I think Raiola might be dishonest as well is because the great Sir Alex Ferguson, someone that I call my fourth granddad after Arsene Wenger and obviously him now, he never liked Raiola, if I remember rightly. When he said he didn't like two agents, it was him. I mean, Arsenal, I'm not too sure how much we've dealt with him as an agent, but I have seen reports that we don't like him and things like that. But whether you like him or not, clearly he's got some talent, because, I mean, he's got some very high-level clients, and surely you don't have them high-level clients if you're not acting in the best interest. Like, surely Pogba would sack him if he was legitimately doing something he wasn't supposed to. We know he's very outspoken. We know he doesn't shy away from things. But I must admit, I see reasons for... My first initial thoughts, again, to hone it in, guys, is that this is his agent being silly, just creating issue, just some warped sort of protection of Pogba. But my other logic, I do believe that surely this has got to be to a degree premeditated. Surely they've got to be in constant negotiations. Surely he wouldn't come and do this unless he kind of knows how Pogba is feeling, sort of. I don't know. It's for United fans to answer. It's not even for United fans to answer. Like, nobody knows in it. It's just pure speculation. The neutral in me, away from being an Arsenal fan, I want Pogba to stay. I love him as a footballer, and I think he's good for the Premier League. And I know he gets a lot of critics, and I can't lie. I get at my United supporting friends very easily with Pogba, and I draw him out and say a lot of stuff that's not true about Pogba in it, and stuff like that. But I want him to stay in the league, man, because I like Pogba as a footballer. He's probably one of my favourite non-Arsenal players currently in the league right now. But from an Arsenal fan's perspective, let him leave. Let him leave. I would love it. I love it. All my friends that support that club, that are watching this vid, that watch my vids, if he leaves this club before the end of August, I'm onto you. Don't lack. And if he... I don't even know if the Barcelona thing is true, because I know Barca, they're always saying they can't afford people, but somehow finding the money. They've bought Malcolm. He obviously weren't that expensive. They've bought a couple signings. I'm not too sure if that's what they need right now, in the sense that they've brought in Arthur, they've brought in Vidal. Do they need another midfielder? And they also linked with Frankie de Jong, who allegedly they're going to go for next year. But obviously Pogba is Pogba. The logic goes out the window in regards of playing time, and do you need another midfielder when a quality player becomes available? And I mean, to say you played for Juventus, Barcelona, Man United before the age of 20, 25 or 26 is quality, to be honest. I personally, I don't think, again, another point that makes me think he doesn't want to leave is because if I'm Paul Pogba, you know how it initially went for him at United, not getting the chance. He's come back. He wanted a point to prove that he could do his thing. If I was him, I've shown that I'm a quality player, but have I probably shown consistently? Have I shut all critics up? If I was to leave tomorrow, would everybody just admit I'm a world-class footballer? Probably no. So there's still a lot to prove. So probably he's thinking about that. I've still got a lot to prove. At the end of the day, I've returned to Man United, and I've won a European title and things like that. But it's not probably shut up all the critics, and he's not probably done what he wanted to do in the Premier League fully, if you were to ask him his honest opinion. That's how I see it anyways. But it's up to him, man. We'll see how this develops. I think he stays, but until the window closes, and football has a funny way of showing you that anything can happen, to be honest with you. Good thing it's not my problem. Sadly, we have to deal with Aaron Ramsey leaving, which is not quite Pogba's calibre of player. I don't personally, I think Pogba's a class above Ramsey, personally speaking. But yeah, man, guys, deluded, I'm out, man. There's nothing more to say. I'm just waffling at this point. Get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest. I'm out.